I don't know if you're aware, but these days when people talk about Omnicane, it's more about energy. And I think Omnicane is perceived to be a pioneer into the renewable energy space. And you yourself have been very forceful and advocating the biomass and all the renewable energy. So I think we're all waiting to hear from you on this aspect.
Thank you, Abza. I think this is the gist of the matter. I mean, for us, energy transition is something we need absolutely to do and be successful at it. So what it's all about, it's obviously the government has now a clear policy of no to coal by 2030, which means that we will have to find a substitute to coal. So this is where biomass comes in. Now there's part of the local biomass, but that won't be enough. So the big challenge will be to source sustainable biomass, preferably in the region, so that this will lower our carbon footprint, and have it as the core fuel to run our power plants. So when we talk about the transition, we know that government has an objective to reach 60% renewable energy by 2030. By the projects we have will contribute to 25% of that if we do convert when we convert our power plants to biomass. And most important of all is the greenhouse gas reductions, the emissions. Government has committed to significant reduction of greenhouse gases in the COP27 and COP28. Our contribution to this reduction of greenhouse gases, we estimate, is about 720,000 tons of CO2 per year, which will account for more than 40% of government's commitments. So it's quite a significant, I would say, contribution that we will make. And last but not least, Abza, why we're talking about biomass as renewable energy, we must understand that in terms of energy, you do have to consider the quality of energy that is on the network. So biomass and our power plants now are used as baseload, which means that this energy is the energy that will regulate the frequency on the network of the grid. So, for example, you can have alternative energies coming in. You've got solar panels. The sun is shining now. This will go in the grid, which means that we will regulate the frequency and reduce a bit our input in the grid. The same thing when the solar goes out, there is an energy that has to come in on the network so that it is compensated. So this is a bit the role of this energy. And this is where you cannot compare every kilowatt hour, because each kilowatt, the price of every kilowatt hour, because each kilowatt hour has, I'd say, a different flavor and a different role on the grid. For example, peak power, when there's the peak, the kilowatt hour will probably be more expensive. So an on-demand power obviously plays this role. So to have a system, a grid in Mauritius where we can ensure baseload with renewable energy, I think is a great chance for our country.
Well, it's clear to me that you have the right vision, you got the right strategy, you have the passion and the energy to drive it through. But do you feel you are supported by the regulatory framework that we have currently?
Also, I think there is a lot of progress that has been made. Obviously, when we talk about regulation, it always takes more time than we wish it would. But there has been a huge step forward with the biomass framework that is now enacted, and there's lots more to do. But I would say that the right framework is there, and I'm very confident that we will get the appropriate legislation for these to go ahead.
My next question is on your Africa strategy. Today you have a minority stake in a sugar company in Kenya called Kiscol, and you have a substantial investment in the hydro in Rwanda. So where is your Africa strategy going? Are we going to see more actions or consolidation? So what are you up to?
Okay, Afzal, if you permit me, before I answer this question, I would like to talk about something very important is to finish on the renewable energy. As you know, we have signed a collaboration agreement with the International Finance Corporation. This is a major milestone for us because in order to qualify with the IFC, first of all, you have to go through a very deep due diligence. So they've sort of audited us and we've been through. And then secondly, a very important aspect is IFC is the private arm of the World Bank. So their shareholder is the World Bank. So before they would engage in financing a project, they have to ensure that this project is a good project for, as for environmental reasons, but also for the country and the economy concerned. So presently, as soon as we did sign this collaboration agreement, they've started a study to really sort of benchmark all the alternatives that Mauritius has to honor its commitments for this 60% renewable energy and greenhouse gas emission reductions, what they have committed. So they are currently doing this study, and after that, obviously, their role is going to be pivotal because they are positioning themselves to finance the adaptation of our power plants to biomass. So there are considerable investments to be made there. So they will lead this consortium. As you know, IFC is one of the biggest DFIs. So they're already paying for the studies that are currently going on. And we are now very confident that as a strategy for the country, this is a very good way to go about for the energy transition. Réunion has done it, and they've been very successful at it. So operationally, we know that it's working, and it's working well. So Réunion now has almost got rid of 100% of its coal utilization just by the fact of substituting coal by biomass. Our advantage is that we have a very strong partnership with Albioma, the company who did it in Réunion, and there's no reason why we won't be able to do it. So technically, it works, and also financially, when we do the levelized cost of energy, we can see that for baseload energy, in terms of renewables, biomass is a great solution for the country.
Why did you choose IFC in the first place? Did you go to them or they came to you?
We had the World Bank has been making lots of studies for the sugar industry itself and how do we adapt the cane industry. So this is what led us to make contact with IFC.